Welcome to the HohO Show, rated the #1 most listened to podcast on Pluto. So join us now as we discuss news, politics, current events, and so much more. So clear the airways and strap in as we defend the Constitution. Because freedom matters.
We are broadcasting live from the Kida studio, so welcome to the HohO Show, and as always, I am your host, HoHo. So welcome everybody, welcome Spreaker, welcome Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and Twitch. So how y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing good. I really do. So we've got some stuff to talk about. And hello, Linda over there in Spreaker land. How you doing? She says, hi, welcome back. And yes, thank you. We will have a latecomer to the show. He said that he's stopping by. He had a meeting he was attending. And so I'm assuming after that he will be here. And of course, I'm talking about Mr. Ray. See, the chair's empty. Oh. So, all right, guys, there's been all kinds of things happen in the past couple weeks. And we are going to start off with, well, let's see. Should I do something a little lighter at the beginning, or should I just dive into it? You know what? We're going to do something a little lighter, actually. We're going to start off with something a little different. Let me scroll down a little bit. No, we ain't going to do that. All right, so this article is from Fox News. We got some stuff with the DNC and the RNC to talk about, and of course we got what was going on over in Kenosha to talk about. But first, we're going to start off here with this article from Fox News. Headline, Laura Trump, Democratic mayors have not protected their citizens. And she is absolutely right on that, because they really haven't. They have definitely failed. If this was an Arrow show, you have failed the city. And they absolutely have, because, they've not done anything to curb, to try to stop the violence, to do anything about it. It's been more or less just letting him run rampant and run wild, and that's more or less what's been going on. But that's not the only article that I'm wanting to focus on, because this article from the Daily Wire says, when you make a hero of George Floyd instead of David Dorn, you get more George Floyds and fewer David Dorns. What he means by that is when you honor and put up on a pedestal somebody like somebody like George Floyd, that's what you're going to get, is more of the type of person that George Floyd is. Because let's make no mistake about it. What happened was a tragedy. I'm not going to say it wasn't. It absolutely was. However, to put him up on a pedestal as if he is the poster child for the black community, not exactly the best place to go with that. It's really not. And David Dorn, he is a black man as well. Why aren't you putting somebody like that up on a pedestal instead of somebody like George Floyd? I don't know. I don't get it. Why are they wanting more of, I don't get it. Linda put in here that I am ashamed to admit that I ever lived in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. And I live in Chicago. Or no, wait, stop, rewind, play. I do not live in Chicago. I live in Illinois, which most people associate Chicago with Illinois. It just kind of is. And it was funny. I was talking with somebody, and I was like, where were you at? And I'm like, oh, I'm in Indianapolis, instead of Indiana. It's like, wait, no, hold on. There's more cities than just Indianapolis and Indiana, but unfortunately, that's just kind of what I do, associate one with the entire state, and I'm not the only person that does that. It just happens, and I apologize to Indianians. I couldn't say that again that fast if I wanted to. But that's what I'm talking about, though. If you're going to put somebody up on a pedestal as an example of what type of person that the entirety of the community should be, George Floyd was not that person. Tragedy, yes. But if you want to kind of curb the behavior, then why not have somebody else as your poster child? Like, for instance, somebody who just died not that long ago, and I'm sure you guys have, heard of this, and I, I'm sorry to kind of slide this in here, but the actor, I'm looking for his name because I never can seem to remember the gentleman's name. What's his name? Chadwick Boseman just died like earlier in the week of colon cancer. Very, very tragic death. Colon cancer sucks. That's what my father died of, and what numerous other people I know have died of in the family. It happens. But yeah, he died he was 43 or something. I had no idea he was actually that old. But, there's all kinds of people that you can put up there on the pedestal. This is my point. There's all kinds of people you could put up there on the pedestal as far as a poster child for the black community, or even for any community for that measure. Never mind. You know what I'm saying? There's all kinds of different people that you can put up on the pedestal for those different groups. Why choose somebody that is a criminal, did criminal things, criminal acts, and died as a result? It's a sad thing. I don't understand that type of behavior. That's where I'm going with that. All right, moving on. Let's see here. There was, I'll talk about that in the next segment. Oh yeah, and as a side note too, well, not a side note, but kind of tying into the last one, this article from Ammo Land Shooting Sports News. What? I don't know. I've never even seen or heard these guys before. And the picture, and of course the article itself, the headline kind of attracted my attention. Barbarians at the gates, is our great republic in danger of falling? And that one, kind of makes you think a little bit. Is our republic, it's not a democracy, it is a republic, constitutional republic, is it in danger right now? And to be honest with you, I wonder. I definitely wonder, because of what is going on, everything of what's going on in its entirety. You step back and you look at it and get out of the mind frame of, it can never happen here. This is America. It can never happen here. There's a lot of different people in a lot of different places throughout the years, throughout history, that have said the same thing. You can't really say that just because it hasn't happened here before doesn't mean that it can't happen here. And hello, Dave, over there in Spreaker Land. Good to see you. And holy crap, I just realized something, guys, and I do apologize about this. I forgot to turn on the chat. Let me get that up right now, the other chat. All right, so now, ladies and gents, the other chat is active, is up and going, so I apologize for not having it up earlier. So, by the way, Dave, hi. He says, I am here, but on the side in a meeting. I understand. I'll tune in ASAP. Hope you go long. Hi, Linda. Oh, yeah. And she says, hi, Dave. And RM. I am doing good, actually, sir, over there in Twitch land. He asked me if I'm heading down to the monster truck rally. Where is the monster truck rally? The big tractor pull. Which big tractor pull? Where's there a big tractor pull? Anyway, Linda put in here in Spreaker, says, almost 200 years ago, we were literally in a civil war. And now we appear to be in another one. And you know what, Linda? I would definitely agree with you, because we are, at very least, we're in a cold civil war. I mean, at very least, shots hasn't been fired yet, at least on that type of a scale. But yeah, we're definitely in a soft civil war right now. It's not a cold civil war right now. We're definitely there. We're well on our way. It's communists versus, constitutional conservatives, and that's kind of what it seems like it's against. It's just scary times, and I've seen some stuff that it makes you wonder what the heck is going on. It really does. So we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we return, we got a few other things to talk about and throw into here. And I think when I come back, we're going to start in on let me scroll up to the top again. There we go. We're going to talk about what happened over in Kenosha. So, yes. All right, guys, just a couple minutes, and I will be right back. Let me go to Nope, not that one. Yeah, let's do this one. Just a couple minutes, guys. Be right back. Have you ever been so full of it your eyes are brown? Have you ever sat on the toilet but nothing comes out? Is a box of frosted shredded wheat just not doing the trick? Well, have I got the ultimate solution for you. Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. See, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse is that particular product that will break through the sphincter like the Kool-Aid Man through a brick wall. Oh yeah! No more irregularity, no more cramping, just good old nice flow. That's right, Tide Pod Brand Colon Cleanse. Please use responsibly and use at home. This is a fast-acting product now available in Tropical Punch. All right, welcome back. So guys, we're going to go ahead and jump on into the topic of the Kenosha shooting of people. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys have heard about, what had happened up in Kenosha, Wisconsin, about the 17-year-old Illinois resident that had went up there and was protecting a privately owned business and ended up shooting 3 protesters and killing 2 of them. So I have watched some of that video and, talking with other people, it's, there's a couple things on this, okay? What Kyle did, he's a minor. Well, okay, let me back this up. As far as the law is concerned with up in, with Wisconsin, 17 years of age, you can't buy a gun, own a gun. You're not supposed to open carry. You're not supposed to carry a gun, open carry a gun, all right? So that's the law up there, all right? Now, down in Illinois, he did have a FOID card, which gives you legal right to carry. Well, not really carry, but you can't carry at 17. But you can at least have one, okay? You can't buy one, but you can have one. You're legally allowed to have one with an FOID card at the age of 17 in the state of Illinois. So it was a legal gun, and he had his FOID, so he could legally have it. Where he screwed up was he was in, up in Wisconsin with different laws, and he did not obey those laws. Okay, as far as having a gun at the age of 17, open carry, Now, here's the thing, though, too. He was on private property. This was a privately owned business, okay? It started with him being on private property, okay? With that one, it's kind of like, okay, well, if you're on private property, then you're not exactly open carry, because like even in the state of Illinois, you know, like, or most anywhere, you know, if you are on private property and he did have permission to have a gun on the property that he was at, okay? He did have permission from the owner, so that's not an issue, okay? He had permission. So the question is, you know, it's, not really the question is, but, you know, it's an aspect of, you know, like even here in the state of Illinois, if, you know, private property, then you don't have to have a concealed carry. It's not even anything like that. FOID card, okay, sure, fine, whatever. Of course, I don't really like the idea of having to buy back a constitutional right from government, because it's a constitutional right. You shouldn't have to buy a right from government, or buy the ability to exercise your right from the government whenever it's a constitutionally granted right. You know, I have an issue with that. I do, just saying. But he was in another jurisdiction, 17 years of age, not able to open carry, but he still had the permission of the business owner to protect that said business. He had the permission. Now, granted, this did end up going from private property into the public street. But he was forced out into the public street. It wasn't like that's where he went because he wanted to. He was kind of pushed out there by the rioters. Why they could still call them protesters, I have no idea. They're not protesters. They're rioters, but that's beside the point. And it wasn't just, he was just randomly firing his gun. It was done in self-defense. You know, one of which had attacked him, hit him in the back of the head, or hit him on the head with a skateboard. That's, you know, if very least he was trying to knock him out, but intent, that's, you know, he's assault. You know, that's, you have the right to defend yourself. That's what he did. Shot a guy who pulled a gun on him, and I forget, and actually fired several times at him. And I forget the other person, what that person did. But either way you look at it, he fired, and it wasn't even random. You know, it's one of the things they teach you, you know, make sure you're aware of your background, what's behind you, and he didn't strike anybody else. It was just those three people that he shot at, ended up killing two of them. Now, they've thrown charges at him. I don't remember, I don't know, because I didn't see everything that they were charging him with, but it's like, okay, so my question is, what are you going to charge him as? Are you going to charge him as an adult, or are you going to charge him as a minor? If you charge him as an adult, well, then wait a second, you can't charge him as an adult for violating something that he did as a minor, because if he was an adult, then the open carry of a firearm would not have been an issue. If he was 18, him having the gun wouldn't have been an issue. So it's like, okay, so what are you charging him with? You know, it's like, you know, the whole aspect of you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either he's a minor and he can't have the firearm, or he is an adult, and of which case he can, and then of which case that part of the argument is null and void. Which way are they going to go here? You know, and it kind of looks like they're wanting to go both ways. It definitely looks like they're wanting to have their cake and eat it too. They're wanting to charge him as an adult, even though if he was an adult, what he did would not have been a crime. But that's also looking at it from the side of, you know, it's like he's on private property. You know, you're not exactly open. You're not open carrying a firearm if you're on private property. On private property, you have the right to exercise, you know, your Second Amendment right, and of which case you're not open carry on public streets because you're on private property. You have the right to do that. It's private property. So was that business he was at? It was private property. He had the right to be there. He had the right to do that. At least you would think he would. That's an aspect of it that drives me nuts. But here's the thing, though, too. Because there was an aspect of this as far as, I guess, city ordinance And I guess that's kind of where part of this comes from. And they have the language in here vague on purpose to kind of catch people breaking a law. And that's more or less what they ended up doing here. It was a violation not just of state, the state ordinance or the state law of not being able to open carry until you're 18 years of age or older. But there was also a city ordinance in here that I guess he violated. And again, I don't even know all the ins and outs of that because there's so much confusion in there that it's not even funny. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. Anyway. Yeah. So there was that. And I tell you what, guys, do your research on that. Listen to, get all the reports in there and, do your homework as far as what happened. I definitely recommend doing that. And if you guys want to check out the articles that I pulled to do this, you guys can head on over to thehohoshow.com. Just click on that newsfeed tab, and there you'll see my magazine on Flipboard, which is my go-to hub for news. Good stuff. So we're going to go ahead and take another quick break, and when I return, we are going to... Oh, that's a good timing, actually. When I return, we are going to go into... start talking about the DNC and the RNC. So, guys, just a couple minutes, and I will be right back. Do you love your occasional Mexican dish or your musical fruit? Are you tired of walking by family members and crop dusting them? Well, if this has ever happened to you, might I introduce you to Tampons brand butt plugs. Tampons brand butt plugs is that particular type of butt plug that allows you to walk in public in confidence knowing that you're not going to accidentally crop dust somebody. Tampons brand butt plugs now with the plastic applicator.
Not just for women anymore.
Tampons brand butt plugs. All right, we are back, and I am now joined in studio by Mr. Ray.
Hello.
How you doing today, sir?
Good. I had that Mexican dish for lunch, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Have you had any bad side effects?
Not yet. I saved them all for you.
Oh, boy.
We'll talk about that later.
We might be in trouble later on, guys.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be bad.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we've got Linda here. We've got some turd over in Twitch, and we got Dave sitting here on the side. He's in a meeting. So, yeah, let's see here. Now, we talked on the last segment talking about the Kenosha guy over in Wisconsin.
Right.
The shooting and stuff. So, yeah, we talked about that. Now we're heading into talking about the DNC and the RNC, the conventions that we just had.
The DNC, the RNC, but not run DMC.
Yeah, they weren't in there. I don't know why. I mean, that's the better NC. That was good, by the way. I like that. Ooh, 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 ooh. There we go. All right, guys. So I guess we'll start off first with the DNC. Okay. Now the DNC, their convention. Well, they avoided a lot of things. You know, they avoided talking
Truth
about the but they avoided really talking about the riots. You know, they avoided talking about that. And of course, they avoided talking about the riots because, well, they're all going on in Democrat-controlled cities and Democrat-controlled states. And, you know, they really didn't want to talk about that because, well, they're kind of responsible for them, you know, and they didn't want to talk about that.
Nope.
And Linda says, "Hey, Ray."
Hey, Linda.
So, yeah, they didn't really want to talk about that. And it was mostly Orange Man bad.
Of course. That's all they have.
That's pretty much, yeah. You know, that's all they have. Was there really anything else that you can recall from the DNC, Democratic National Convention?
No, I didn't even bother watching it because I knew they were just lying through their teeth and everything else. You can probably script it yourself without even watching it, and to be about 90% accurate. So I mean,
yeah, pretty much. And okay, now how about the
RNC?
Yeah, that one. How about that? Did you watch any of that?
I didn't get a chance to watch that one, but I knew already it was going to be good because Orange Man good.
Exactly.
That's all I needed to know.
You know, but here's the thing that cracked me about the difference between the DNC and the RNC. See, the RNC, they talked about their record. They talked about what President Trump has been able to accomplish, even with all the opposition that he's had.
Right.
They talked about the record, because Biden couldn't talk about his record over 50 years in politics, and what does he have to show for it? Not really a whole heck of a lot. So they couldn't talk about, he couldn't talk about his record, but the RNC, they were able to talk about the record. This is what we did. Mm-hmm. This is what we were able to accomplish. This was the economy that we were able to build before COVID, and even now we're having a V-shaped recovery. Despite everything that the Democrats are trying to do, we're still kicking butt.
Right.
There was a lot of people that said, after his speech, which apparently he went over like a lot, after President Trump's speech, that he, that was his reelection right there. Like, he pretty much had it in the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I heard
it was good, though.
Haven't watched it yet. I heard it was good. I was driving during all those, so I really couldn't watch it, and yeah, so.
The only problem I have with these conventions like this, too, is like even the RNC convention, most of the people that listen to it are already going to vote for the guy. The other part that needs to hear it aren't probably going to listen to it or watch it or pay attention to it, and darn good and well that the mainstream media isn't going to cover it only so much that they have to where somebody can make an opinion on it.
See, now I'm glad you actually brought that up because this was something that I found very entertaining, okay? Now, if you guys remember back in 2016, one of the things that they kept spilling left and right was that Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote, which she did, and she won by 3 million votes.
It's a lot of dead people.
Well, let's just say they're not all dead. Let's just go for the sake of argument, which I'm lying my ass off on this, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, they were all alive. Everyone that voted...
At least till she got a hold
only
of them.
voted once. Right?
Anyway.
Well, let's just say for the sake of argument, okay? 3 million. Okay, whatever. Fine. That's fine. President Trump still played the game, and he played it right, and that's why he won. Electoral College, that's why he won.
Right.
Okay. Now, here's my point on this. If you look at from the networks, the viewership of the first day of the DNC versus the first day of the RNC, the DNC had 3 million more viewers. But here's the problem. If you were somebody like, us, that was interested in the speakers, what they were talking about, all that other kind of good stuff. Let's say there's a difference between dead and brain dead. Yes, Linda, that is awesome. But here's the thing, and Fox News was even guilty of this. Okay, one of the things that the CNN and MSNBC and CBS and all these other networks, they did a lot of cutaways whenever during the RNC with various people speaking. Their reasoning that they were saying was because there was a lot of false, fact checking, they were wrong in some of the stuff they were saying, and that's why they were cutting away and doing like what you said, doing commentary on them instead of actually listening to the speech and, allowing people to make up their own mind or do their own research. They cut away. So the point is, if you actually wanted to watch the speeches and watch the RNC without them doing that, doing the cutaways, like what everybody was doing, including Fox News, you had to watch via the interwebs. You had to watch the feed. You had to watch it on the internet. They did not count those numbers at all.
Wow.
They didn't count any of it. None of the online viewership got counted. Whether it be left or whether it be right, none of the online viewership got counted. None of it. So the fact of the matter is, they don't know. Or at least they haven't released it. They don't care. Maybe they do know, but they don't care. They're not looking at that. They don't want to know that, Andrew, because they want to promote the narrative that Biden is going to win the popular vote. They already intend on cheating, guys. I don't know if you're aware of this. They already intend on cheating, and they've already told us how they intend on doing it.
Right.
We already know. With these mail-in ballots, taking away the securities of knowing that the votes are valid, not letting certain states clean up their voter registry to remove dead people, to remove people that have moved out of state or out of town or anything else, not allowing states to clean up the voter registry. Just mass mailing out ballots, which the post office is not capable of handling this mass volume. You're going to have, it's just going to be bad. Let's just put it that way. It's going to be bad, okay? And
you're not going to know election night who won, plain and simple.
Yeah, you're not. And the thing is, too, let's say, we need like 50,000 more votes in this jurisdiction in order to swing the state. Okay, so next thing you know, somebody's just going to pull up, we found these ballots, random ballots in the trunk of a car. You got to count them. Mm-hmm. These people deserve to have their votes counted too. No validation. No way to verify at all whether these votes are valid, whether, who did them, where they came from, nothing. No validity in it whatsoever. Oh, these votes have to be counted. My question is, it's like, okay, so if you do that, are you going to get a truckload or a trunk load of ballots that are, just marked for Democrats, or are they actually going to throw, Republican votes in there as well?
Right.
That would be a real telling thing, but either way, because, let's not forget, back in the last election, there were counties that voted 100% Democrat.
Yeah.
And yet no cheating happened there. Like 0 conservatives lived in that area. Okay. Mm-hmm. I believe you.
Yeah.
So we already know they're going to cheat. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just agree. It's going to be bad, nasty, and you're not going to know for probably God knows how long who actually won.
See, here's the thing, though. There is a limit on how long they have to report the results. Constitutionally, there is a limit. But the problem is, and here's where the DNC has already said that of what they're going to do. Here's what they've already said. And in fact, I believe it was Hillary Clinton that said it. We can win this in litigation. That's what they intend on doing. Mm-hmm. If President Biden, if he gets that, if he becomes president, then, well, the election was fair and valid and all this other kind of good stuff. If Biden loses, then it's going to be, oh, well, this was orchestrated by President Trump. He did this, that, and the other, and messed with the United States Postal Service, and it was just a bad thing, and this, that, and the other, and there's no way, because we've already established that more people were watching the DNC as compared to the RNC, so we know that Biden won. We knew this months ago. And is what they're going to end up doing is, if it is Trump that wins, then they're just going to start doing ballots after ballots after ballots, and they're going to fight it in litigation because, oh, these people, their voice deserves to be heard too, and that's what they're going to end up doing. And they're going to try their darndest to take it away from the president.
Oh, yeah.
That's just what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's going to be messy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're going to have Nancy Pelosi possibly being the...
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Just for the simple fact is, regardless, because there is a deadline. There is a deadline.
There is a deadline to certify, but even after that deadline, like you just alluded to, they're going to contest it in court.
Right, but that's not to say, if it's counted and it's in, it's done. I mean, just because, and this is another thing that Hillary Clinton said too, do not, don't bow out of the race. Don't do your, what's that speech they say, don't...
concede.
Yeah, don't concede. That whole don't concede at all. He's like, that's the worst mistake I ever made. And I conceded, and even though she did lose. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Another backdoor thing I think that they'll do also is not just, of course, they're not just going to cheat on the presidential race. They're going to cheat on the congressional races that are up for office too. That way, for some reason, he does win again. They are going to try to keep control of the House by cheating also. That way, when he does win, they can immediately go to impeachment trial over all this crap, the post office, or whatever else they can drum up or think up of. It's going to be impeachment 2.0 from that point on.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
So you better hope that Congress turns too, not just not just the president win, but the control of Congress changes also. Otherwise,
both the House and the Senate.
Yeah, you're going to have this for all God knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah. So we know their playbook. We already know what they're going to end up doing. And more or less, and here's my thing, and I tell you what, I can actually see this happening. Because of the craziness that they've been doing, okay? All the, because normally during the primary, you've got, they're more, they go more radical, and then during the general, they go, a little bit more moderate. That's usually what they do. Biden didn't do that. Biden went moderate during the primary, and he's gone very radical, very hard left in the primary. And to be honest with you, with a lot of the stuff that's going on, it feels to me as though he's losing his base. He's losing the base. Kamala Harris doesn't do anything for the ticket, doesn't do anything for him at all.
They thought they were, don't you think? They thought, oh, this is the key to us getting something, and then it just went.
Right, and that's what I think. She was the best option they had for basically the very limited credentials that the VP had to have in order, that they were allowed to pick. Had to be a woman, had to be black.
I guess you could say she blew it for him, huh?
Anyway. I wasn't going to go there, but okay, yeah. She doesn't bring anything to the ticket. That's my point. She doesn't bring anything to the ticket at all. She is from California. They're going to win the California vote. They're going to get all the electoral college votes from there. So it's not like she brings with her a possible swing state.
Right.
No. She does not have a very positive record with the black community whatsoever. As Attorney General, she was horrid. She did a lot to convict and put in prison a lot of black people, and of which case I don't really think they're going to let that slide. So the moderate base, I think, are, they're kind of sliding into Trump territory. I really do. What do you think?
Yeah, I've already seen several people post online from different areas. They used to be a Democrat, and they're planning on voting for Trump. Did you see the post about, I forget where it was, somewhere out east. It might have been Pennsylvania. I can't remember. Big old Trump billboard says, Democrats for Trump. I mean, that's billboards aren't cheap. They they pay, a lot of people had to pay for that. And, I think the independents, the libertarians are, smart enough, the majority of them, to see what's going on and be like, no, we're not going to let you steal this.
But that's the thing too. Those people that, and I'm kind of going back to this, those people that were on the fence that may have watched the RNC and the DNC, I think they found a home with the RNC, with President Trump, people that were at least willing to hear him out and give him a chance.
Right.
Take all what the social media, or not social media, but all of what mainstream media has done to President Trump and actually listen to him. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess that is what his record is. Let me look that up for myself. Oh, holy crap, he did do a lot.
Right.
Wow. So, I think that, I don't think that they are really taking into consideration. The polls we know are wrong. Hello, Dave, over there in Spreakerland. He says, okay, I'm here, meeting over. Awesome. Welcome, sir.
Hello. Vector says hi, too.
Yeah, Vector says hi. He woke up again. But I really don't think that they're taking into consideration just the sheer amount of people that are going to come out of the woodwork to specifically vote during this election. I'll be honest with you. 2016, I did not vote for the president. I did not vote for that office at all. This time, I am. Dave asks, how'd he do? I'm doing good.
Doing good?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Busy, but good.
Yeah, a lot of business going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that they're really taking into consideration the sheer number of people that's going to come out of the woodworks to vote during this election. I think most people are aware that they have to make their voices heard.
Right.
And I really don't think that they're taking into consideration. I really don't. The polls are wrong. And there's too many people that are lying, saying, oh, no, I'm going to vote for Biden. Yeah, just because they don't want to hear it, Mm-hmm. Dave put in here, I just did a podcast about it. Biden is going to lose huge. And I believe you. I don't want to go as far as to say it's going to be a landslide. I don't want to go that far. Okay, I don't want to make that kind of prediction. But definitely in the swing states, over Mid-America, over a lot of. I think he's definitely going to win pretty big in there. I think where he's going to struggle is some of the places that are kind of obvious. He's probably going to struggle. He's going to struggle in California. He's going to struggle in. Maybe New York, I don't even know how I feel about Portland. With what's been going on over there, I don't know about that one.
Traditionally, the whole West Coast usually goes for the Democrats, but I think there might be a surge in certain counties and certain areas, but overall, I think it'll still go for the DNC.
Yeah.
But what my question to you is, how do you think he'll do overall as far as compared to 2016? About average from the last time, better or a little worse, but still win?
I think, all in all, I think he's going to do better. I think he's going to do better than what he did last time. I really do, because I just do. I think he's going to do better. You know, I mean, there's with how radical that they are going. Oh yes, Dave, absolutely, call in. Dave put in here. He goes, "Okay, I hear you. 5% or more." Yeah. Linda put in here, would Antifa even take the time from protesting and rioting to even vote? You know, you raise a good point, Linda, because historically through the elections and whatnot, those that are much more vocal with the age group that a lot of them are, have a hard time making it to the ballot box. Historically, that's kind of been what's been going on. I don't know, but you raise an interesting question, though. You know what I mean?
I have two questions on that.
Okay, go ahead.
As far as Antifa, somebody posted this today, and I did check it out and confirm it. You go to antifa.com and click on that link. Guess what pops up? Campaign for Joe Biden.
I just dribbled on myself.
You just dribbled.
I forgot how to talk. All right, let's see here. Bam. Hello, you are on the air. Hold on, maybe. Okay, you are on the air.
Hey guys, what's going on? How are you?
Not much, Dave. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Hey, I'm in my backyard. I just finished my meeting, and I hear you talking about it. I'm so passionate about this year. I'm usually not that passionate about presidential elections, but it's gotten I've gotten the bug, and I'm listening to everybody, and I can't help it. That's why I asked to call in, because I just did a podcast about this, and you're talking about it. I have some input that I think. If I missed the first whatever minutes of your show, but if you don't mind, I'd like to share with you some insights I have that I think why Biden is going to lose huge and why Trump is going to win big.
Oh, please do.
Hear 'em?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so check this out. So, by the way, I've vetted out this conversation with a fellow truck driver as well. So he kind of agreed with a whole bunch of this. He has his own take as well, but So when Obama ran in 2008, he was quite the exciting candidate. I'm a Republican, but I still voted for him because I liked his message. I liked his thing of change. I liked he was charismatic. He was charismatic. And I got caught up in it, with the whole Oprah thing. And I didn't really I don't know if I bought into his political views, but I liked his idea of change. I like his charisma. I felt like he was going to be a different type of president. And I wasn't really thrilled with the race that McCain was running and what they did to Palin and all that. So I think that's why Obama won in 2008. And, in 2012.
Well, hold on. Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I very much agree with you. Former President Obama did a very good job on that. He had a good message. He campaigned very well. I mean, he very charismatic. I definitely agree with you. He did a great job on the campaign. I even watched the episode that David Letterman did. My next guest is, and he did an interview with Obama, and it was a really good interview. I liked his energy on it. I mean, I think personally, I would like the guy. It's just politically.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in 2012, when the first 4 years of Obama went by, and I think a lot of this country really was disenfranchised. A lot of the country was like, what is going on here? And then Mitt Romney came up, but he didn't do a good job of campaigning.
No.
Obama's such a strong campaigner, and Mitt Romney was not a good campaigner. Mitt Romney did not beat Obama, and also, but he should have. As Trump says, that was a good time to beat Obama after the first 4 years. And a lot of the country was like, "What are we doing here? What happened? Nothing's happening."
Right.
So Romney should have won that. So here we are, 2016. Here comes Trump, beats all those Republicans out of nowhere. And the media feeds into all of this. and he beats Hillary, right?
Yeah.
Who did a horrible job campaigning, and also had no message. And so she did not get the black votes like Obama did. She did not get the youth vote like Obama did. And she really didn't get as much as the woman vote as you would have thought that Obama did. She really did poorly.
Right.
Is my point in all of this in my podcast. In all three areas, I don't know how many areas there are, but she did really poorly as compared to Obama in 2008 and in 2012. Now, and this is why I say Biden's going to lose huge. I think Biden, I know that Trump gave him the nickname Sleepy Joe, but that's a really great nickname because he really is super boring, and he really has nothing to say about what he's going to do. He only has what to say that's bad about Trump, which is all lies. But if you're a Democrat, you might believe him. But I still don't think he's nearly as convincing. He's not energizing the black vote at all. He made that comment that everybody's repeating over and over again. If you're not black, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. I mean,
yeah.
That's not a smart thing to say. He's just been making a lot of mistakes, and I'm not just saying that because I want Trump to win. I'm you know me, I'm pretty objective. I don't really have a horse in this race one way or the other. But, I'm watching this, I'm going, Biden is a worse candidate, definitely, than Obama. He's way worse of a candidate than Hillary. And Obama already won with the electoral, which is fine because I don't know. That's the way it is in America. These are the rules, and he won according to the rules.
Right.
There was no interference. There was nothing illegal going on. They keep on throwing illegal at him. He keeps on beating them because they're just making things up. I'm not saying that because I have a Republican bias. I don't. I'm just being objective, and it's amazing what they're throwing at him, and everything just bounces off him because they're all fake, they're all lies, and there's nothing substantial. He's going to beat Biden because Biden's not going to get the black vote. He's not going to get the woman vote because he's creepy, and he's not going to get like the typical angry white male vote because he's boring and he has no issues that you want to root him on to win. And it's just too much negativity. And also, by the way, Obama at least, Biden was not a horrible VP, pick. But, it's good to know that you had a senior. He's a plagiarist. He plagiarized, stuff in the past.
Right.
So, but that was a decent VP pick. But Biden picking Harris as a VP, black people don't even like her.
Right, exactly.
Women don't even like her. She was the poorest performing candidate in the Democratic primary. The poorest. Tulsi Gabbard stayed much longer than she would have been a much better pick. I'm a big Tulsi fan.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about the rest of them. They're all wackos. But here's another thing. Bernie Sanders, the Democrats are going to lose this election, and they're going to do it to themselves because they chopped off Bernie's legs in 2016.
Yes.
And they chopped off his legs again in 2020. And you got to be careful what you wish for.
Right.
I've said that many times on you know that, Ray.
Yeah.
You got to be careful what you wish for. You might get it. So that's what the Democrats wished for, to not have Bernie in the race, to not have a socialist Democrat to be at the top of the ticket. So be careful what you wish for because you got it. So now you're going to have a regular Democrat, and he's a loser. He won't get you the women. He won't get you the youth. He won't get you the black vote. You're going to get crushed. But if you went with Bernie, I don't think that's a good idea either because I'm not looking forward to a socialist government. But if they went with Bernie, he would have been a lot more formidable of a foe to win, just to win. I'm not saying to be a better president.
Right.
To win, to compete against Trump. That's who you should have went with. But they were so dead set on having Hillary as the chosen one, they couldn't see the forest for the trees. The truth was yelling, screaming at them, Bernie's your man. And then Bernie, of course, gave away the primary back in 2016 by saying, I don't give a damn about Hillary's emails. Well, you might as well just give away everything because that's really what you had to. You have to win the campaign. That doesn't mean you're a good or bad president. It means you know how to campaign.
Right.
Obama knew how to campaign. And one last thing I could say is, right now, if Obama came back, the Democrats probably would say, hey, Joe, we're coming to your house. We're going to help you pack. I know he's not in the White House. But if Obama could come back, there would be no Biden. There would be zero Biden. Because everybody would be way so excited about Obama. the level of excitement for a candidate like Barack Obama as opposed to a Sleepy Joe, the numbers are so, the energy level is so different. It's so high for Barack and so low for Biden. There's no energy there, zero. And I'm not saying that because I'm a registered Republican. I'm saying that because that's what I'm seeing, that's what I'm hearing. It's just so clear. People don't really. He's the lesser of all the Democratic evils. There was no other choice. There was no exciting choice except for Bernie Sanders, who maybe Buttigieg, and that whole controversial thing where. By the way, how weird is that? I don't know if you did a show on it, about that. How Biden was doing so poorly, finishing third and fourth and whatever, and then all of a sudden, one day, was it that one Tuesday? All of a sudden, he leaped to the front.
Right.
He just how did he? Doesn't that seem just a little odd to everybody? And I know Liz Warren had something, and there was some hanky-panky or whatever. But boy, I thought he was dead. Oh, by the way, also he already lost twice. All these things we already know. Mm-hmm. He's already lost, twice running for president. This will be his third time losing. It's just awful. It's going to be huge. I'm telling you, I'm putting my neck on the line. Not that anything makes a difference when I say 5% or more. Probably will get the popular vote, Trump. Definitely electoral. I'm not concerned at all. I really am not.
Right.
At all. First time in my life I feel this way.
Yeah, and I believe you. I think that it's definitely going to be Trump again. I think it is. And you brought up an interesting point. That during the primary, Biden wasn't really doing so hot, and quite honestly, about the only reason why he did win at all was because you had different people that bowed out when they did in order to allow him to win.
Right.
Including Sanders. Sanders bowed out, and that was actually an interesting thing too. And this is why I mentioned it in the last show, that Biden, because whenever he bowed out of the race, he didn't actually let go of the delegates that he won in the primaries.
Right.
So it was like, why didn't he let those go? What's going on here? And Linda put up an interesting point. She said, "I seriously believe that Biden has cognitive disabilities."
Right, and I could jump on that bandwagon too. I could. I'm not going to, because I remember they said things about Hillary. By the way, did you see her recently? And I mean, she just really has shrunken. She looked horrible. But they said things about her when she was coughing all the time. I'm just not going to go there to the medical aspect of Biden. There's nothing to disagree with. He is a man of a certain age.
Right.
I mean, he's just a man of a certain age. So it would be reasonable to expect.
Well, I mean, even still, Bernie Sanders, he's the same age, and, he's sharp as a nail. He's got no cognitive issues at all. But... Yes, right. But Biden won't... He's refusing to take the cognitive tests. So, that there, along with some other things, I kind of wonder,
Yeah, I do too. He seems slow. He seems, I've seen all the video. I've seen all that. So I'm not going to disagree. I'm just not going to jump on it because I don't have any medical, I just use my eyes. So Linda's using her eyes and ears. Everybody's using their eyes and ears. And the truth is in front of you. And even Trump had said, listen, I know guys that are in their 80s and 90s sharp as a tack.
Right.
This guy's not sharp as a tack.
Right.
So I think enough Democrats are seeing that. I just think, and by the way, if it wasn't for the COVID, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't for the COVID, I would tell you a landslide, 10%.
Oh, yeah.
It would be a landslide because everybody was doing better. Everybody was doing better. And maybe I'm just a little bit more aware today than I was 6 months ago or a year ago, but I'm noticing a lot of, and maybe it's the algorithm of YouTube and Facebook, I am seeing and hearing a lot more black conservatism on the internet than I ever have in my life. I mean, you probably watch all the same YouTubers I do, Officer Tatum and, Brian Anthony Logan and all these other guys. There's just, Candace Owens, but there's more. There's so much of a black conservative voice that's pro-Trump and anti-Democrat because the lies, because of 50 years of Democratic lies. And, their identity politics and all those buzzwords. Listen, man, I grew up in New York City. I've seen these I've seen Brooklyn. I did a podcast about that too. I did a couple of them about how Brooklyn had all these governors since 1950. I went through the whole list. I think only Giuliani and one other were Republican. The rest of them were all Democrats. And you can't fix New York City in 50 years. It just got worse and worse. The drugs, the crime, the lack of education, all of that. Well, why do you think that is? There's got to be a reason. You got all those Democratic mayors. So, and I don't know how many Democratic governors we had, but it still doesn't make any sense to me. There's a problem there. And that lady from Baltimore, she's really amazing. That Kasich woman, right? Is that her name?
I think so,
Kim
yeah.
Kasich or something?
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. That black conservatism that's coming up, that's like I said, I don't know if it's the algorithm that's picking up on what I'm interested in. And say, oh, Dave Canyon, whatever, ... ones and zeros. The internet is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing a lot more black conservatism, and I think when the dust settles, you're going to see some amazing numbers for Trump and some really bad numbers for Biden. Surprisingly anti-democratic numbers. Just different from every other election. And Obama's probably sitting home going, this is ridiculous. If I could just step in yesterday, I'd win this thing in 2 seconds. And I could make Michelle my vice president. And by the way, that would have been a great choice. Better than Harris.
Right.
I mean, anybody would have been better than Harris. So, and not that she's qualified to be VP, Michelle, Obama, but an exciting choice. And you need to energize. They're not energized. They're angry. They're not energized. They're angry. They're doing damage. They're burning down cities, but they're not energized to vote. They're not energized at all. They don't care. They don't want to hear it now. They're just angry. They're just crazy angry. So I'm just glad I don't live in any of those cities that's burning. I'm glad I'm in the woods. The worst thing I have is a tree frog. I just had one jump from my umbrella right in front of me. The good thing I didn't scream like a little girl. Right in front of me, a frog just jumped, onto this table where I'm standing at, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell was that? I'm in the woods, man. I'm in the woods, but anyway, that's it. That's my 2 cents, Jared and Ray, and I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to call in. I normally don't call in. I just sit back and listen and enjoy, but I'm too energized about this. This is ridiculous what's going on, what they're doing to them. I can't wait to some prominent Democrat. Well, Jones, that guy, the governor, or what's his name, Vernon Jones or something, who spoke at the convention, said, I'm a Democrat, but I'm voting for Trump. I mean, he did you see that speech? Did you hear it?
Yeah. I remember him saying something to that effect. I didn't get all of that one.
Oh, I watched it. I was in my truck one night, and I just played the entire first night of the convention, and I think the second night. And boy, what a great convention! I mean, I usually don't care one way or the other. It's just a big infomercial, but to everybody, Melania, Pence, Jones, they all did. All those other people, great speeches. And how do you not listen to that? And by the way, for all the people that are listening, I used to be a registered Democrat a long time ago when I was younger, not as wise, but I was. So when I speak to you, Jared, when I speak to Linda, when I speak to anybody, when I do my podcast, I don't come in with this red, white, and blue. I think you're probably more into it than I am, but I'm not a big amendment. I'm not a big, whatever. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not any of those guys. I'm just a worker. I'm just a guy trying to make a living.
Right.
And I see the truth for what it is. And the truth is, the Democrats are going to lose huge, because of what they've done to themselves and what they continue to do to everybody in the United States and what they've been doing to Trump. I can't wait till somebody speaks up and says, this is a disgrace. I'm so sick of the Democratic Party. And it is being said, but it hasn't been said by anybody prominent.
Right.
Pelosi, Schumer, that high. I can't wait till somebody that high says, I couldn't say nothing. I had to sit back. My hands were tied. I had to take care of my state. I had to take care of my whatever. Somebody's going to speak up one day and said, I wanted to tell Schumer and Pelosi to shut up 1,000,000 times, but I couldn't. My hands were tied.
Right.
It's a scary thing to speak up, to go against the flow, to go against. Some guys have done it, but usually guys that don't have that much to lose. But, if you have something to lose and you do it, like if Tom Cruise came out and spoke out against Scientology, that would be huge.
Right, yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for somebody to speak out and telling you I'm not worried. I'm not worried. I know Trump has been doing an awesome job. You think he might have done something stupid, and then it turns out it's all false. Whatever it is, what he said, this comment, or he said that comment, it's all lies. And it's just amazing to me. It's going to be a no-brainer. And It's going to be, and don't listen to the polls. That's another thing.
Yeah,
Again,
that's
the
the
polls.
truth.
Again.
Them
these
things are
polls
so
were
far off,
so
it ain't even
inaccurate.
funny.
It's a waste of time. How does anybody watch CNN or MSNBC? How do you watch any of these shows and go, oh, yeah, look at the polls? Why? But what did they say 4 years ago? Oh, Hillary's got it locked up. And I got to tell you, they fooled me because I remember, Jared, I remember that night I was going to Rochester. I was in my truck. I was playing with the dial, looking for radio stations because, it was public radio was the only one that was covering it. And I was going from Albany to Rochester, New York. And when he won Florida, and then when he won Pennsylvania, I think it was the two big important states. Oh my God! It was just the most amazing news I've ever heard. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. The polls were way off.
Yes,
way
they
off.
were.
And guess who was giving you the news? Who was telling you the polls? CNN and MSNBC, all those guys.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Well, it was 2 cents, and then I talked a lot more. Then it became a nickel and a dime and a quarter. So now I think I owe you. I got to make a contribution to the cause.
Not at all. Well, I do thank you very much for calling, David. Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, Dumbing It Down with Dave. Anywhere there's Dumbing It Down with Dave. It doesn't take much. You put in DUMBING, and eventually, boom, it comes up Dumbing It Down with Dave. On Twitter, at Dumb with Dave. Thank you very much for letting me plug my show. But, yeah, everywhere you go, any platform, podcast or internet, Facebook, Dumbing It Down with Dave. Dumbing It Down with Dave on Facebook, the Dumbing It Down with Dave Facebook group. But so whatever. I'm not even concerned about that. I didn't call in for that. I called in because I can't. I'm so grateful I have a place I can call in. I don't have to keep my mouth shut. I mean, I'm not afraid of it. I tell anybody, but these are the facts. This is what's in front of you. You just shot yourself in the leg and you put up the worst candidate ever, worse than Hillary. And he's in the dungeon too. She was sick. She wouldn't leave the house. Now he's not leaving the house, and he won't do interviews. And you don't want Harris talking because she's a moron, and she puts black people in jail and she doesn't let them out, and she puts people on death row and she won't open up evidence, and she's horrible. They hate her.
Absolutely,
she's a hypocrite because she did smoke pot. She puts people in jail for pot, but she smokes pot or she smoked pot. So she's a hypocrite.
Yep.
And she's not even black, right? She's like Asian or Indian. She's like, what is she identifying with these days, other than being a liar and a phony? What does she identify with? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Last time I heard she
I have no
was
idea.
Jamaican and
What's
Indian. Jamaican and Indian is what I heard last time. I don't know if that's true, but
Oh, good. So she's going to go through all the flavors. And at the end, who knows, she'll be gay. She'll be lesbian. At the end of the show, she'll have all the colors of the rainbow. Good for her. I don't care. Maybe she'll identify as a mermaid or something like that. I hear that's going on, too. People are identifying as mermaids. All right, guys, that's enough. I've done too much. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, Ray. Have a great night, and God bless everybody. Don't forget to vote. It's important you go out and vote. Don't take it for granted. I'm still going to vote. I'm still going to be part of the landslide. I'm going to be part of the 5% victory. I can't wait. All right?
All right, so
thanks, Dave.
Thank you very much. Have a great one.
Take care. You're welcome. All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. That was Mr. Dave Canyon of Dumbing It Down with Dave. Available on Spreaker and wherever podcasts are located at. He brought up some awesome points in there.
Right.
Definitely brought up some good points. And I want to go back a little bit to what Linda had mentioned, because she had, I seriously believe that Biden has cognitive disabilities. And she also did another one. Kim Kasich identified McCall, Idaho, along with 34 other cities as unsafe for black people, and she is wrong there. I do not believe I've seen that or heard that. But anyway, I'm going back to that. I seriously believe that Biden has cognitive disabilities, because I'm going back to that because there is, they're not even wanting Biden to debate Trump at all.
Right. Or if they could do a weekend at Bernie's type thing, to where they could just tie strings to his hands and then pull it and have a voiceover, somebody's voice in the background.
Oh, Linda put on her video. She shows the cities on a map. Oh, okay. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, they're not even wanting them to debate at all, and I like that. Weekend at Bernie's thing. Got to play the music though, and put the sunglasses on, and there you go. But yeah, they're not even wanting them to debate, and even
that was me.
That was you. What's that? Pelosi. Pelosi said that she doesn't see the need for a presidential debate. That's the thing, though. He's like, I really do not think that if there was a presidential debate, Biden and Trump, that would be absolutely horrible for Biden.
Oh, yeah.
Just
guaranteed.
Yes. And just for the simple fact is Trump is not going to back down. He's not going to pull his punches. He's going to go all out, and Biden ain't ready for it. I mean, just pure and simple. Biden ain't got nothing. I would love to see it.
Even without cognitive disabilities, even if he was just Biden himself, maybe back in the day, he still would get his, handed to him by Trump, I think.
Yeah.
Just on a normal basis.
Dave put in here, she might be wrong on that, Linda. I agree, talking about the different states. And he also put in here, but still, she's probably right about many of the other ones. And then she said, they're afraid, very, very afraid. And absolutely, I think they are. I think they're terrified of a debate. Go ahead.
I seen earlier today, briefly, a post about some reporter interviewing a DNC staffer. I don't know how high up the chain on the DNC it was, but with the DNC. And the lady for DNC basically says, "We're screwed." That was her comment to the reporter. "We're screwed." That's
awesome.
And I was like, pretty much, yeah. You are. But my point is, this election, the actual counting of the votes and stuff in these swing states, security at the polls. What's your take on that? Because especially in the swing states, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, all these other groups know the majority of the people that are actually going to the polls are going to be Republicans. The majority of the Democrats are going to mail in their ballots. What about disruption at the polls in these swing states by groups like that?
In a matter of speaking, I don't. If it is an issue, I don't think it's going to be a big one. And here's why I say that. Because if you have Antifa show up, or any of those organizations show up, if you have them show up for intimidation at the polls, I very much think that you're going to have, because of what's at stake, because it's a sacred act of voting in America, I think you're going to find people from the other side that show up too. And considering, well, all things considered, I don't think Antifa is capable of, I think they would be terrified about that one as well. And I just, if you have one side show up, I think you're going to have the other side show up. And Dave put in here, said, great question, Ray. Maybe they need to bring out the National Guard. And maybe they do. That's a great idea on that, Dave. Maybe they do need to bring out the National Guard, because that's the safest way, in a matter of speaking, to ensure that you don't have, one side going after the other.
Right.
But that's kind of what I think is going to end up happening. The militias versus Antifa. Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly, Dave. And I do. I think that's what would end up happening. You would have law-abiding gun owners showing up right along the Antifa to kind of keep everything at bay and be like, no, you're not antagonizing people. You're not going after people. You're not going to do that. We will stop you from doing that. And I kind of think that would happen very much.
Right. But just the disruption alone, even if they really, the Patriots would counter whatever they did, just the fear and the disruption that they cause could keep some people from going to the poll if they see it on the mainstream news. This location is a big thing going on, and Irma goes, "Oh, I'm not going down there and vote." How many of those people might it deter from them going voting?
It's possible, but again, I think people are aware of what's at stake during this election.
Right.
I really do. And you may have some people that'll back down out of fear if something like that happens, but at the same time, I think that there's just as many that will make a point to show up for the same reason.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't.
But can you see them at least trying something? I mean,
I think it's possible.
They're not smart. I mean,
no,
they're not the smartest bunch. I mean,
yeah, I mean, I agree with. I mean, something like that is possible, but I mean, even still, I think that, I think you're going to have the same thing happen on the other side, because I don't think it's going to take long for something like that to make its way out for people to know what's going on, and you're going to have people show up to, stand against Antifa if they end up showing up like that. Because, I mean, this has happened once before. Black Panthers has done this very same thing, back in the whatever. I mean, it's happened before. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that type of tactic isn't anything that's new. So, I mean, I don't think that it's out of the possibility of something that can happen. But with what's at stake, if you have an Antifa member show up, it ain't going to be very long before you're going to have somebody else show up to stand against them,
right,
and keep them at bay. I mean, I very much see that happening. Easily see that happening. Linda put in here that Idaho is opening up several locations besides traditional polling for voting. Oh, really?
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Dave put in here, says, they are there to protect the Nationals, us, when we need it. Ray is right. Just the idea of a problem at the polls might keep people away. And that's very true. I mean, it is possible, And it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility. It's something that could happen, mm-hmm. But I easily still see people that, you got Antifa people showing up. I mean, let's just put it this way. I'm going to be voting. If I see Antifa people there making a ruckus, I'm staying.
Right.
I ain't going back home, because you ain't messing with people that are voting. Right. No, I don't care if you're going in there to vote for Biden or if you're going in there to vote for Trump. I don't care. But you're not messing with people's ability and right to vote. No, you're not using intimidation. You're not doing that. You want to stand against, I'm standing against you. I'll do the same thing. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're going to see a lot of, even if the National Guard doesn't come out, you're going to see a lot of militia groups do their part and help keep the peace, we hope.
Right. And I'm not even going as far as saying militia. I mean, just the idea of a American, a patriot.
Say it like I mean it.
America. But, I'm not even going as far as, militia. It's just, a patriot standing there to uphold voting. That's just kind of where I stand with it, I guess.
Right.
Back
to what I said earlier before the break, before the call. If you go to Antifa.com, it goes straight to Joe Biden's campaign page. What do you think of that? Because I seen that on Facebook, and somebody posted it. I was like, I'm going to try this. And I Googled it, and it did. Unless they've changed it already. Antifa.com.
Antifa?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Antifa.com is shut down.
Ah, they
because
changed that
that's
today.
Where it goes.
Wow. Well, I can attest.
Antifa.com. Maybe you got to put the www.
Yeah, because earlier today I tested it out, and it did go to the Joe Biden campaign page.
Well, apparently not anymore.
Yeah. Somebody caught on when that went viral. Then apparently.
Uh-huh.
Oops.
So they shut that down. Oops. Yeah, exactly.
Oops.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and when we return, who knows?
Craziness.
Linda put in here, too busy writing to renew their web domains. That's very possible. That is very possible. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and oops, I hit the wrong button again.
Like I said, glad you're not in charge of the nukes.
Mm-hmm. I think I did that one last time. Let's do this one. All right, guys, a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Have you ever sat down? Have you ever sat down on your throne just to find out that you are dangerously low on shift tickets, making it to where you have to make a mad dash to the store just to pick yourself up some? If this has ever happened to you, pick up the #1 most rated toilet paper found in Uranus and use what the professionals use. Angel Soft. See, I'm just not a fan of some toilet paper. Some of them it's like putting a pillow between your nice rosy. Others, like John Wayne toilet paper, it's like using sandpaper. But do what the professionals use. Use the type of toilet paper that is the Goldilocks of brands, Angel Soft. Available wherever toilet paper is sold. All right, welcome back to the HohO Show. So, guys, let's see here. We're pretty well on the downward slope. This is going to be the last segment. So we got a couple things to talk about. Articles that I hadn't gotten to yet. So first, let's head on over to an article, ABC News. Well, I'm sure you guys are aware of the hurricane that hit land Friday night, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday night, Hurricane Laura, which was a Category 4 when it hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Category 4. According to ABC News, death toll up to 16. And this came in yesterday at 1 p.m. So I haven't heard any type of updates on that. So, yeah, and I guess they were talking that there was going to be... like flooding like 30 miles inland even and whatnot because of the winds from the hurricane.
Really?
Yeah. What have you heard about it? Have you heard anything about it?
I did, and I forgot what the details were. I just know it was Category 4. Usually,
Right.
you usually got 15-foot surge and
Right.
that kind of thing. And
I guess they still have power out. Yeah, still thousands without power, according to CBS. Let me throw this one on here. Yeah, hundreds of thousands still without power in Louisiana. So, yeah, and this one says 16 deaths reported.
yeah, but I think they updated that. The 16 actually died of COVID.
Oh, okay, so they updated that, right?
Yeah.
That's very possible. Pneumonia updated the COVID and stuff. Yeah, anyway. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, hurricane bad. So, for those of you that are able to head down there and help with the efforts, search party, different things of that nature, definitely do that. For those of you that are able to, head on down there. Give them a hand. Help them out. Even if it's, delivering food, water, because they're definitely going to be needing, that kind of stuff. It's going to be bad down there for a while.
Usually is.
Mm-hmm. Hurricanes suck.
Yeah. But if you think about the size of the storm and everything, 16 people is bad, and one person is bad. But
right.
Compared to storms in previous decades, because of the advanced weather radar, the information they put out, people actually paying attention, getting prepared, and the whole 9 yards, you see the downward trend of the number of injuries and deaths over the decades rapidly declined.
And that's one of the things that I was hearing too before the hurricane actually hit land was, governors and everybody telling people, it's like, look, just go. leave before it's too late. And this was like, a week before the storm even hit. It was like, dude, guys, get out. Don't stick around. Don't stay here. Just leave before it's too late. This way you ain't got to worry about it,
Right.
And in which case, yeah, get out. It's not worth it. Oh man, yeah, look at this one. This was and this is ABC News. And of course, it doesn't show the thing. It's got some damage and whatnot. Oh, well, let's just show you guys too. Just different pictures and whatnot. I get, it looks still scrolling too fast.
Slow down, you're making me
Right.
dizzy.
I guess it's already starting to head. Looks like towards Washington D.C. Wow. All right, so yeah, there's those. So yeah, it looks like it might have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
So here is, I guess we'll move on to another one. Get off there. I hate pop-ups. I really do. Stop it. Fine. You stay on there then. Whatever. Oh, good. It left. Very good. Thank you. You see, you complain at it, and then it goes away. So this headline, we're totally changing gears. Just for those of you that might not be aware of my ADD and yes, I change topics like that. So here's this headline out of Business Insider. I don't know if you've heard this one yet. China fires a barrage of reported carrier killer missiles into the South China Sea as U.S.-China tensions flare.
I did hear something about that.
Not Ric Flair, whoo, but they're like, flaring. Yeah. So you did hear something about that?
Yes, I snapped into a Slim Jim.
Okay. Oh, yeah. What you going to do, brother? Dude, he was so upset whenever he found out that everybody is not his brother. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was distraught about that. He was very upset.
Not as bad as Elizabeth Warren finding out she's not really an Indian, but...
Right. Oh. No, I mean, he was on the... who's the guy that's like, this is your child? The...
Maury.
Yeah, he was on Maury. It's like, dude, everybody is not your brother. And he was like, oh, no way. It was a good meme I seen. Never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho, yeah, China's acting up again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Also seen Russia playing war games off the coast of Alaska in our own territory.
Really? That one I did not hear.
Yes, I just seen that earlier today, a couple hours ago.
So...
Telling fishing trawlers to get out of the way.
Really?
Yeah, in our waters. Russian nuclear-powered submarine. Yeah, very interesting.
I'm waiting for somebody.
To push the wrong button like you do?
Anybody. Well, like with what Russia has been doing, flying into our airspace, navigating our waters, to say no.
Right.
Forcibly, no. Because they're doing that. They might be playing war games, but it's like, okay, do you have live ammo? Is it live weapons on your ship?
Sure
Are you actually crossing into our waters with the ability, maybe not the intent, but the ability to wreak some havoc? And of which case, if so, you're now a prisoner of war. Something,
Right.
I mean, that's kind of, that type of behavior, it irritates me. I got to be honest, but people need to start respecting our authority.
Amen. Brother.
A little bit of Eric Cartman. I didn't even use his voice, but y'all know who I'm saying. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Get off the screen, stinking pop-ups. All right, you got anything else to add about China and Russia?
China and Russia.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you go.
Watch Red Dawn. It tells it all.
Right. All right, so don't do that. All right, fine. I guess you're not going to. Okay, no. I got another one. And whenever I seen this, I had to laugh, mainly because the picker I thought was absolutely hilarious. Kind of looks like the duckbill platypus.
Ah.
That's kind of what this thing looks like. But the headline is, now this is from CNN, evidence suggests an animal that roamed with the dinosaurs went into a hibernation-like state to survive. Now, and this thing looks kind of funny. It's an artist's rendition. It kind of looks like he's got an exoskeleton over his head or on his head. It just looks funny. It just looks funny. It cracks me up. I'm like, dude, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Evidently, it's in the ice in Antarctica. Yeah, that's where it's at. Modern day Antarctica is in the ice, and I don't know why they're calling it hibernation, because if he's in the ice, I don't really think he hibernated to do that or went to hibernate. And words.
He's a popsicle.
He's a popsicle now. Anyway.
So I'm sure some scientists out there will get the DNA and try to clone it or mix it with something. God knows what.
You know, that reminds me. I got a few more Jurassic Parks to watch. I think there's like 2 or 3 that I haven't seen yet. You know, the last 2.
Yeah, dinosaur eats people. People blow up last dinosaur. Next movie.
Right, pretty much. You know. Yeah. God make man, man destroy God. Man make dinosaur, dinosaur just kill man. Women inherit the earth.
Dinosaur turns to chicken.
What?
That's what they say. Dinosaurs, birds.
Oh, birds, yeah.
And dinosaurs.
Right, yeah.
My question is, how's that possible? Explain that to me. If they claim all dinosaurs died out when the asteroid hit, right, how can you evolve into another species then? If you went extinct.
What I want to know is, which good question by the way. What I want to know is, how could you say that dinosaurs went extinct whenever you have found bones with soft tissue still attached to it?
Yep.
Meaning that it's only about 5,000 years old, of which case that's not really, doesn't compute.
Or the guy on Johnny Carson one time showed a pictograph in the Southwest desert of a certain small dinosaur, detailed down to the feathers, bones, and everything else. And he said the only way those Indians could have drew it in that detail is if they actually seen the thing. And the pictograph was like 4,000 to 8,000 years old. I mean, modern for our times.
Right.
So how is that possible?
Well, the term dinosaur is actually a relatively new term. They used to be called dragons.
Yep. I think dinosaur came around in the 1830s, as far as in books.
Okay, you got me up on that one because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Linda put in here, not all dinosaurs went extinct. Fred Flintstone has one as a pet. You got that right. That is hilarious. You're awesome, Linda. See, they didn't all go extinct. He had one. They used them as pets. They did all kinds of stuff, man. Dino, was it Dino? Was it Dino?
Dino. Yeah.
Whatever his pet's name. I really ain't got nothing else. You got anything else?
Well, after dinosaur stories, where do you go from there?
I don't really know. So
let me tell them what I told you.
Okay, go ahead.
The aerogel we talked about, what was it, last month on the show?
Yes.
Okay, the lighter that 95% nothingness and can hold objects and really freaky stuff we talked about. Found out earlier today from a YouTube video that the principal owner of the company that makes it just happens to be Bob Lazar, the guy who broke the story on Area 51 for all you UFO conspiracy people out there. I just thought that was very interesting. So is aerogel a little something from way out there? Who knows?
Interesting. All right, guys, that is all I got for today. And before we go, I've got to tell you that we've got a video that Weaponized Sloth Productions has produced. It is available on the Machine Radio Show, Weaponized Sloth Productions, the HoHO Show. It's on our YouTube channel and Facebook. So search it out, watch it. Just a video. The title of it is Blood on Their Hands. So check that one out. I'm not going to play it right now, but it is entertaining. And I tell you what, the next video is going to be coming out on that is the outtakes reel. which is like 3 times longer or 4 times longer than the actual video itself. It's not a long watch. The video itself is like 2 minutes and 8 seconds, but there's intro and an outro, so it's like 3 minutes something or another. So definitely check that one out. Again, you can find that on YouTube. You can find that in various other places. I'll have it on my website before too much longer. Tomorrow, maybe, I'll have it on there. So, all right, guys. Y'all have yourself a good one. Say goodnight, Ray.
Good night, Ray.
That was perfect. That was great. All right, guys. Good night. Sleep tight. And if the bed bugs bite, well, by golly, bite them back. This has been The HoHo Show. For more information, you can head to thehohoshow.com. And for the merchandise store, you can head on over to stinkpickle.com. That is stinkpickle.com. Until next time.